A Moment with Tyranny podcast. This episode and conversation is powered by Homes with Tyranny. Hey, 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 it is a Moment with Tyranny podcast, and we are here with a special guest. And our topic to get today is really interesting. My guest today is Eric. Hey, Eric, welcome back to A Moment with Tyranny.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Oh, so our topic today is something very interesting, and I think most of us, kind of have a challenge with it. And the topic is going to be letting go. So let's just jump right into it, Eric. Letting go is something that is really a difficult thing for people to do. It could be something emotional. It can be a hurt, it could be a situation, it could be many things. So what is your thought about letting go?
Well, I guess for me, the way I look at letting go is not holding onto I would say baggage, any kind of baggage. That's for me that's the way I look at letting go. And like
Mhm.
you said, it's not always easy, but I think it's something that one needs to do.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, you hold on to things, you're never going to you can't fix it. So why is it why is it so hard for a person to letting go? And you just said it's baggage. And I think part of letting go, when we think about it, letting go is a pathway of surrendering. And sometimes it's hard to surrender to something that has caused us some type of discomfort. So with that, how can a person surrender? How can a person let go? I mean, what are some of the ways of doing that?
Well, I think the first way is not to take it personal. I think for most of us, what happens is when something happens to us, we look at it as it's a personal affront to us. This is happening for whatever reason we take it, it's personal. And sometimes it may not even be personal. And with
Yeah.
that, we involve our emotions and it suddenly now becomes almost like a fight. We're trying to fight the other person or the other thing. We're trying to fight whatever it is that we think is affecting us. Or it is affecting us, but we're letting it affect us.
Yeah. Well, the thing with that though, what you're saying that is that the root of of suffering is some type of attachment. A lot of times um when we're in a situation and it's hard to let go, it's because it's having some type of negative effect on us. And sometimes it could be like a relationship, it can be something that is not healthy, letting go, because some people don't know how to let go of something or somebody. And that's because we have that emotional attachment, or we're rooted to that person or that thing, so it's hard to throw to let go. Just kind of like we had the podcast not long ago about purging. We started going in and cleaning out closets and doing things, and when you start opening up and boxes and looking at some of your old high school things and some of your jackets, your what do you call them, letterman jackets and stuff, we
Letterman
know
jackets.
we'll never get back into those things, but we have that attachment to it that we can't let go. So
And
how?
again, you see that right there. I think you're making my point. Is because it's personal to us.
Yeah.
This was may have been a great time. When I had my Letterman jacket, it was a great time in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to relive that life.
Mm,
So
mm.
I think that's part of why you have to kind of try to make it not so personal, understand it happened, and then kind of deal with it from that point forward.
So what you're saying is that, okay, when we have these feelings or emotions that happen, acknowledge it. First, we're going to acknowledge, okay, yeah, we got this situation or this feeling or emotion that we're having it. But after we have that, we need to move from that into the letting go process. And the letting go process is, okay, that was great memories, but today is today. We're in a whole nother world. Is that what you're saying?
That's approximately what I'm trying to say. Because yeah, you have to acknowledge that you have a feeling. Because you have to acknowledge your feelings. That just is a way. There's no way you're going to avoid your feelings.
Yeah, that's a human.
Yeah. So you have to acknowledge it, but don't dwell in it.
Yeah.
I think it's when we dwell in when we stay in the same position of the feelings, whatever heart it is, or the good feeling or whatever it is, when we dwell in it, then it's going to be impossible to let go.
Mm. Mm. So and that's the situation when you said we dwell in it and we stay stuck in that part, you know. I know that holding on to things, the past and stuff, if we're going to move on, we have to make a conscious decision to just let it go and move forward. We have to do that. And a lot of times that's what the challenge is, making that conscious the decision to let go and move on. Because if we don't, and we stay into that you know, that situation of, oh, we should have, or what could have been, or what it was, then we're stuck and we never grow, we don't move on. So it's really, when you just says, we have to make that decision, that conscious decision, to acknowledge it and to let it go and move forward. Is that?
Yeah, and I would say even the conscious decision is like a muscle. You have to continue using it.
Mhm.
So it may not be easy at the first time, but if you start, if you, or you can even, you can even start small and work your way to big things. But you have to start making decisions on small and keep just work your way up. It's like a muscle. You just need to continue doing it until it becomes second nature.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
again, you
it may
know,
not be easy. I didn't say it's easy, but I think it's doable.
yeah, and there's some people that are in a better, you know, they're able to do those kind of things. Sometimes you think, man, that person is so heartless. You know, they can just drop it and go, and or you know, just nope, 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 nope. But I've learned, and I'm still in a learning process of saying no to things and moving and just saying, okay, it was, and keep going. And it is work. It's a process, but it is a growing process. And I believe that, you know, learning to take control of a situation and making that conscious decision to acknowledge it and move on is a big thing. And some people can't do it on their own. Some people need to get professional help. I mean, and that's not a bad thing. You know, some people really do need to seek professional help if they can't let go of things, or something is depressing them, or they're having thoughts of, you know, I can't let this person go, you know, and I'm saying that like a fatal attraction kind of thing, you know. So some
Yeah.
people need professional help, seriously, and it's okay to seek out professional help. I know some people think, I'm not going to go get any help, but I'm an advocate on getting people to help you through situations, and not necessarily your families or friends, but someone that is, you don't know, you know, a doctor, somebody that can help you through those things. And I think that's also part of letting go, if you really don't know how to let go of some things.
I actually will completely agree with you, because again, sometimes there's some things that are hard for us. There's some things that are rooted, could be rooted in our childhood,
Yeah.
could be rooted in our days when we were 10, we were 15, something that's deeply rooted that we can't get to the root of. Sometimes you need the help, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with help.
Yeah. 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 And as we're growing, and I always say this, as we are learning to let go of things, we have to understand that letting go is healthy. Because if we don't, we stay so rooted. And we want to be rooted to a point, but we also want to be rooted as we grow. And so we need to surround ourselves with people that are really good. But I was going to say, as we're growing and we're learning to let go of things, we're, well, for me, I can say I feel lighter. It's a more it's a weight off of your shoulders when you're learning to let go of things and move and grow. And we have to learn to celebrate those small victories, like you said a minute ago, that it takes a little bit, do a little at a time, you know, move small, take small steps towards it. And we should celebrate those small victories as we're growing and doing it, because each step becomes a bigger step until we can be like those other people, like, nope, I'm not going to let this go, and I'm letting go. It's not mine to hold. And my mom always says another thing, like whenever I'm having a stress moment or something's happening in my life, her favorite thing is she says is, God, here's another one. God, here's another one. And she lets it go.
I like
And
that.
she says, here's another one. She just lets it go. And I'm like, okay, I got to start doing that. And I start speaking it. And I start saying, okay, Lord, here's another one. And, just by saying that, it actually does give me a little relief, you know?
And yeah, and again, like again, even saying God, here's another one. You're giving it to a professional.
Yeah.
You're no longer trying to fix it. You're just saying, hey, I can't handle this one. You handle this one. I'll handle the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the next one, you may still give it to him again, or her. No, I still don't know that God is a him or her yet. So I'm still
Yeah.
trying to work that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do. It's all about letting go. And I do hear that. And so a takeaway from me, I always say, it's not always easy, and we have to pick and choose our battles. We have to choose what we're going to deal with. And some days, and you know me already, is that I take on a lot and I can overwhelm myself. And then I get into a situation, and I don't know how many times you've said to me, let it go. Let it go. And then I try to explain myself. Well, but the reason why is, and you're like, you don't have to
Let it
explain
go.
yourself. Let it
Let it
go.
go.
You know, so that's why, I sit up and I'm trying to, like, okay, I'm getting to that point and I'm getting better at it. And that's why I'm like, it's hard to let go sometimes, but once you start letting go, you realize it's not as hard as you thought it was, you know?
No, like I said, as with everything else, once you start doing it, it gets easier. And it's not even a thing of being mean. It's just a thing of take. Because again, you have to take care of you first.
Yeah.
You have to, because nobody else will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why, for me, that's why letting go is so important, because my personal peace is at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just said a key word is holding on affecting your peace. That's something you got to think about right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is whatever you're holding on to, is it worth your peace? And more than likely, the answer is no.
Usually the answer is no.
Yeah. Especially if it's making something, that's making you unhappy. Now, there are some things we do want to hold on to. Great friends, certain things that's happening in our life that's a positive things. Yeah, we're going to hold on to those things. But I guess when we say letting go, just let go, we're really focusing on those things that are hurting us or causing our peace. I like the word peace.
Yeah. So again, and the way I look at it is, there are negative things that happen to us. There are things that are neutral, and there are things that are positive. We want to get let go of all the negative things.
Hmm.
Neutral things and positive things you want to keep.
Yeah.
You want things that bring you joy. You want things that bring you happiness. You want things that bring you peace. You want to keep those. You want to hold on to those.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this just a moment. We just kind of put something out there, give our audience in the world something to think about. So what kind of advice, if someone was to ask you, hey, I'm having a hard time, or what kind of advice would you just give to someone that's struggling with letting go? What steps can they take? I mean, what can they do?
Again, I guess the first thing I'll tell them is to understand that it's okay to have an issue. That would be the first thing.
Yeah.
Try and understand why you're having the issue, and then see what effect it has on you. If it's positive, then you can keep it. If it's not positive, you have to figure out how you're going to not let it affect you. Because at the end of the day, your peace is most important.
Yeah. 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 I would agree. I would agree with that. Um, and like I said before, I say, it's okay if you need to reach out to someone to help you get past your point if you're not able to let go. Write down things that, some people, I mean, just talking to other people, sometimes letting go, people are able just to write it on a piece of paper and throw it in the trash and they're okay. So whatever you find that works for you to let it go, let it go. If that means deleting a phone number or counting to 10 before you do something, or just turning around and walking away, it's okay if that to let go that kind of way. Jobs. Sometimes jobs are so stressful to people. And guess what? They need to walk away from it. If it's taken away from your health, your happiness and stuff, you need to really evaluate that. Some people are afraid to walk away from jobs because they're like, oh, it's making a lot of money. Well, you probably can find another job that makes as much money. Or you have to weigh, is the money worth your health? Because if you have high blood pressure and you're about to stroke out, you're not going to have the job anyway, right?
Yeah, and all the money in the world won't help you there.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Well, this is just a moment with Tyranny and Eric. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, everyone, subscribe. We're on with a Moment with Tyranny podcast every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you haven't like me, share with me, and join us every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And everyone knows I end my podcast with a quote. And the quote for this today is, sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go. So I'll say that one more time. Sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go. So thank you, Eric, for joining me with a moment of with Tyranny podcast. I really appreciate you, and everyone, see us again next week.
I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. Thank you so much.
All right.